Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet Designs. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we are making the gorgeous little strap and rose that you see attached to this Christmas present, which I have wrapped for a family member. Yay! And the colour combination chosen today for our little project was by the lovely Rachel during one of our live Antics on our lives every Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time. And now she chose the green and the red for the Christmas colours, very exciting. And I chose the actual pattern. You will need small amounts of your red and your green or your Christmas colours, if you will. That is 8 ply DK weight or a number 3 weight overseas, if that helps. You will need your scissors, you will need 2 stitch markers. Not really, I used them, but we didn't really need them, not really. You will need that sewing needle, and you will need your, and I'm using a 4mm hook. All right, very basic tutorial, quite quick and easy. You can use the size to wrap in reference to the size. I show you how to adjust it to make the size that you need. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Good luck creating your gorgeous wrap and rose for your Christmas presents. All right, we're going to start off by making the wrap, or the chain wrap, if you will. You will need quite a bit of tail. Let's just say, I don't know, about that much worth of tail available. Then grab that little part right there, and we're going to form we'll make a slip knot. We're going to wrap it around your finger once and twice, holding it up there and holding it down there. Yeah. Grab your back loop, passing it halfway over your finger, like so. Grab the other loop, passing it all the way over. Pop your hook in, giving everything a tug. Your tail is really long, yeah? You may not need a long tail, but we'll talk about that later on, yeah? But for now, let's do this. We are going to chain up 4. And a chain is a yarn over your hook, pull a loop through to the loop on your hook once, yarn over 2, yarn over 3. Now we're going to make a treble, and a treble is a yarn over your hook once and twice, so you need the 2 loops over your hook. Yeah. Then you're going to pop your hook in that very first stitch, or the very first chain that you made, your 2 loops on top there, 1 loop on the bottom. Yep. Pull a loop through like so, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. Yep. Yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. Yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. And what you formed is a little chain loop, if you will. You're working in chain loops in this particular part of the tutorial. So you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then you're going to do your treble in that loop space, the chain space, if you will. So yarn over your hook twice, pop your hook in the space, pull a loop through, and you should have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Yarn over, pull through the first 2. Yarn over, pull through your next 2. Yarn over, pull through your last 2. Yep. Chain 1, 2, 3. A treble in the loop you just made. That is pretty much the pattern throughout the whole piece of this strap. That is the pattern, and I'm going to show you again. Chain 1, 2, 3. Yarn over your hook twice, pop it in the last loop that you just made, or last chain space, if you will. Pull up a loop, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the next 2, and yarn over, pull through the last 2. All right, so that is pretty much it. How big do you need to make it, I hear you ask? Now that depends on the item that you are wrapping. Let's take, for argument's sake, my little gift pack that I'm wrapping here. Firstly, it's upside down. It is this one right here. What it is I'll stop touching it because it's very crinkly. So there it is right there. How gorgeous is that pack? Now in that pack, you get your hook, your scissors, your sewing needle, your pattern, and your yarn, one skein yarn for this particular product. So one skein, I call it a one skein wonder. Like a lot of people have their one skein wonders, this one is mine, okay? If you did want to purchase this particular item as the pack or separately as the pattern or as a ready-made, please head over to our website at www.wowcrochetdesigns.com. All 3 items have been put on special. There's 20% off all 3 right now, specifically to honor this particular video today. What I want to do here is make a measurement. Now, you might need a piece of thread to do this. Mine's already done, but it's just to show you what you want to do, what you need to do with a piece of thread, right? So you grab your piece of thread. Let's say that's a piece of thread. These are just my chains already done. And you double it. Yeah, then you find the center of that thread, of the double. Yeah, so you find the center, pop it on your piece. Now this is going to be a bit crinkly. I might end up having to put the volume down a little bit. Sorry guys. So you turn your piece over like that. You tie it like so, just in one little knot there. Then you tighten it up a little bit, turn it over, turn it around, and then you tie it here. If you want your bow to be in front, then that's how you do it, right? I don't want mine in front. I don't want a bow because I'm going to pop my rose on there. So I want to do it the other way, all right? So I'll take it all undone. Find the center again. So you're popping your 2 pieces together. You find your center. And the middle goes under the pack now, like that. As close to it as you can. You can always even it out once you do this part here. I'm tying my piece in front this way and then turning it that way and then tying my knot on this side. All right. So what I'm doing, I'm not doing a knot, I'm doing a bow, and that will give the person the opportunity to actually keep the strap for something else that they may like. You might want to pop it in their hair, who knows? Turn it around and then we'll be popping our rose on top and we'll be sewing our rose to that. Yeah. You can stick it to it, you can sew it to it, whatever you want to do. You can probably just tie it around it with a knot so they can actually keep the rose separate as well, which is actually what we might do instead of sewing it. That way it gives the receiver the opportunity to have the rose separately with its thread. All right, I hope that makes sense, but we'll worry about that later. But that's how I want mine wrapped. So I think that's perfect. I don't mind having the few threads here. I've left my, so that you know, I left my little stitch marker in there just to give me an opportunity to change it or fix it, but I don't want to now. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to pull my thread through and just pull it through and finish it off. When you get to the end of that, which we'll talk about in a minute, right? So what you need to do is grab a piece of thread, right? Any thread you have in stock. Now I think I used a little pink thread before. It was one of these. And I wrapped it around my bag and then I cut it. And then I measured it up to my loops when I was finishing my loops. Just remember that your loops can be really stretchy. So you might need to make a few loops less than the size that you first measured it up with. Then pop a stitch marker. We can do that here, look. When you get to this stage here, let's say you've completed all your loops, right? We'll do this one real quickly. You've completed all your loops, but you want to try it on your pack. You just pop a loop there and you go and try it on. When you're happy and you've done all the loops that you need, grab your hook. That's the last loop you did, yeah? Pull a loop through, give your work a cut, and just leave your ends. Obviously yours is going to be long like this. In fact, I'll move that out the way. Let's pretend like you did yours and leave your ends like that. All right, so that's pretty much all you need to do for your strap. All right, so continue making your strap, cut it, get to this stage right here. Don't worry about wrapping it on your piece because we're going to do that later once we complete our rows as well. So get to this stage, meet me back here and get ready to make our rows. Alrighty guys, for the rows we are going to use red, and we're going to do another slip knot, grabbing the tail end of your yarn, wrap it around your finger once, twice, holding it there, holding it down there, pass your back loop halfway over your finger, pass the other loop all the way over, pop your hook in that loop, giving everything a tug. Alright, from here we are going to chain up 47. So yarn over your hook, pull a loop through the loop on your hook, 1, yarn over 2, yarn over 3 and 4 and 5. All right, I'm not going to sit here and let you watch me do this, but I will tell you to keep counting, get to your 47th chain. I'll pop this on fast for you and off we go. 6, 47. All right, so now you should have your 47 chains like so. From here you are going to put a yarn over your hook and you're going to skip 4 chains, and that's these top loops you see right there, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you're going to jump into the 5th with a half double crochet. So right into that 5th loop you pop your hook in, you pull a loop through, you have 1, 2, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on your hook, and what you have is that. Before you continue, just lift up your thread a little bit, grab your stitch marker, and that's the half double crochet you just did. That's a chain 1 and that's a chain 2, and in that other chain right under the chain 2 you're popping your stitch marker. Alright, so there you go. What you have is a half double crochet, chain 2 and then your stitch there. Alright. From here you are skipping 2 chains, 1 and 2, and you're jumping into your 3rd one with a half double crochet. Pop your hook in like so. Chain 2, 1 and 2 and half double crochet, all in the same stitch. Then yarn over your hook, you're going to skip 1 and 2, jump into your 3rd with the same half double crochet, chain 1 and 2 and half double crochet. That is pretty much it for this row. Skip 1 and 2, jump into your 3rd with your half double crochet, chain 1 and 2 and half double crochet. All right, I don't think I need to show you anymore. Your job now is to skip 2, do your half double crochet, chain 2 and half double crochet into your 3rd, skip 2, half double, chain 2, half double into the 3rd, and so on and so on and so on. As you go along right to the very end, you should end up with the last 2-3 stitches left, or you should end up with your last cluster set just in the very last stitch. All right, that's a cluster set, by the way, your half double crochet, chain 2, half double crochet. So you should end up with that in your very last stitch right there. So go ahead and continue that. Meet me once you get to the very last stitch and we'll talk about what we're going to do next. Alrighty guys, here we are at the end of the row. Now I have my last 1, 2 chains left, and then the last one right there, you pop your half double crochet in that loop, pull a loop through, do your normal half double like so, chain 1 and 2 and do another half double. Yes, chain 1, and now we're going to turn our work, but it's up to you which way you want to turn it. You can either turn it that way or the other way. Now I turn it this way because it's like I'm turning the page in a book. It just reminds me to stay consistent throughout my piece, although we're only turning it once, so it doesn't really matter either way. From here, I want you to slip stitch into that very first space that you made, or the last one actually from the previous round. So you just pull a loop through like so, and pull it through to the loop on your hook. Once you are in that round, you are chaining 1 and you are doing a single crochet, and it's pop your hook in, pull a loop through, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2. Now you can pop a stitch marker in there, but it isn't, there's no point. This is the last row. So what you're going to do before you do anything else is in between each chain 2 that you see, you're going to pop a single crochet. Now that is under there, right? So you pop your hook under, pull a loop through, yarn over, pull through 2. But when you get to your very next big chain 2 space, you are doing a double crochet. A second double crochet. So you're doing 2 double crochets, a treble, yarn over your hook twice. You've done that with our strap. So yarn over your hook twice in the space, pull a loop through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over 2, yarn over, last 2. Yep. And 2 double crochets again. 1 and 2. Yep. And from here, before you go into that very next space with a set, you're putting a single crochet in that space before your chain 2. So single crochet in the space, and then you're doing your set in there of 2 double crochets, treble, and 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. And again, before you go into your next set, you're putting a single crochet in that space before it. And then do your set of 2 double crochets, treble, and 2 double crochets. All right, so that's pretty much the pattern. All right, so in your space before your chain 2, you're doing a single cluster, single cluster, single cluster, single cluster, all the way until you get to your very last stitch. Don't do the last space right there. Just do all of that, get to the second last space right here, and I'll meet you there once you're done. Alrighty guys, what you should have is that kind of like a little bit of a curved, it's all curving up because there's a lot of stitches in there, and that is normal. Yeah, should have mentioned that earlier. I left a little disclaimer at the top there, but anyway. All right, so that's our last cluster set, and then I said wait till we get to the end and don't do it. Do a single crochet in the spot before your cluster set, but in that cluster set you're still doing another one. I wasn't going to, but you actually are, and you're going to do another set of 2 double crochets, 1 treble, and 2 double crochets. All right, so we didn't really need that stitch marker, but that's okay. Didn't really need it. Whoa. All right, from here, what you're going to do, believe it or not, that is it. You're going to pull up a loop, but your loop that you pull up is going to be really long because you're going to need this to sew your piece together. So you can make it as long as you like. I always just do 2 fingers or 2 hands full, just to be safe. If that's too much, oh well, it's too much. I can cut it at the end, yeah? So you pull that out. All right, so what you have now is, sorry about all that fiddly stuff there, 1 long tail and 1 short tail. The thing is, I actually got you to leave the wrong one longer. But it doesn't matter. As long as you've got a tail here enough to help you wrap. If you don't, at the very end, we can grab that tail, weave it in and continue wrapping. But if you do, regardless of whether you do or not, pop your thread of your first, this is your first thread you started with. That's where we started. That was your last tail. We won't worry about that. And that was your first thread. Pop that through a needle and leave it there. All right. But in the meantime, what you're going to do is wrap this guy up. We're going inside our work so that the wrong side is facing outward, because that gives it that bubbled rose look. So keep going inside of your work and wrapping and wrapping and wrapping, and it might pay to just wrap like that. So you're holding everything in place and you're not moving it. Once you start moving it, it'll move out of place, which I think it just did. But we'll see. I think we might be okay. That one just moved, and right there it just moved. So just be careful not to move it out of place. Yeah, continue wrapping. Like so, nearly there. Nearly there. Nearly there. All right, we're there. All right, so turn it over, still keeping everything intact. You start moving this around and it's going to move out of place. You've got your little needle with your thread here, yeah? You're going to just pop it through some thicknesses and go through any space that you come through. You're in the middle at the moment, so pop it through that, all of that, holding it all into place, finding another space to pop it through, and you're going through all thicknesses like that. Yeah. Then we're going to go through another section right here just to keep that last bit in place for now, because this might be too short for you. Yeah. You're going to do it again just to keep it all into place. Just pulling it through like so. And what I want you to do is just let that tail go for a minute. Thread the other side, and the reason is because that tail was too short for me and I left a long tail here, and we can use this tail to help weave it in as well. So I'm trying not to move anything out of place. Now before I do, I'm actually probably should have done this before, where we weave that thread down. So what I'm going to do is just find a little space at the back to weave it into there, just behind the flower, and back into the next stitch down. Anywhere you like, you know, it doesn't matter. And then you can start going into your piece at the back, going through all thicknesses. All right, making sure all thicknesses are being caught. If you're not catching all thicknesses, your rose is going to come undone. Like that. Well, don't pull it too tight because it's attached to your little piece there. Yeah. And now, this is a part where you can, let's move everything out of the way. You can double up. Once you're happy with all of that, you can get as close as you can to that one right there. So let's just go through a few more thicknesses there, right up towards that thread, like so. And then just hopefully yours is long enough to do this part where you tie it in a knot once. Oh, not too tight. I just pulled the thread there. I just saw it getting pulled. And then you tie it in a knot a second time. Don't pull it too tight like I just did. And your rose is actually done. You can open it up like so. The way you attach it to your piece is using these threads here to attach. Now, if you leave these threads, whoever it is you're giving it to, the receiver, can actually use it once she takes it off the package as something else. So she can use it for whatever she wants or he wants. But in the meantime, we're going to attach it to our pack right now. Grabbing our pack, I might just pop this on silent for a few minutes, just this part here. But what I want you to do is actually grab your strap that you are making and do the wrap that I said that you wanted to do, whether it's this way or whether it's the other way. Mine was the other way, like that, all right? So I'm going to do this with just in a bit of silence, might have some music. It's just that crinkle is going to make a lot of noise. You saw how I did it before, so off we go and wrap our threads, yeah? Tie it in a knot. Right, that was that. I'm just going to pop a little bow in there underneath. Not necessary for you to pop a little bow on, but you know, you can. I've already tied it in a knot, so that person would have to actually cut that. And I'm going to cut these threads a little bit so that they're not too long. Yeah, flip it over, and there you go. And that's what you have so far. Grab your rose, and we are going to attach it to the green. Now it's entirely up to you whether you want to sew it to there. You can sew it if you like, and that's easy. You're just threading your needle and sewing it in and out of these pieces, this thickness right here. Or you can do what I'm doing, where you can just grab the thread through. Yep, take both the little threads like that. Tie them in a knot. One is shorter than the other, so I'm going to have some problems here. I will have problems. Like so. Once you've done one side, you're going to go and attach it to the other side. So I've had it through there. Now we're going to go to the other side and attach it through there. So you're going to tie it in a knot again. Once again, I'm going to have problems because it is always small, this thread. And there you go. And that's it. You're done. If you want, you can actually keep going into the next loop if you want. It's entirely up to you. And don't do it in a knot completely. Just tie it in a little knot. Once you get to an area where you want, you pop a little bow. Once you get it, you know, to the thicknesses that you want. Now I've made a mess because my bow is too short. My thread is too short, but there you go. And there is your little, I don't know if you can see it now. Let's bring it down this way a little bit. Ta-da! Your little strap with your rose. Now, if you didn't want the thread to show, you can tuck it under, right? Under there, you can sew it. If you don't want it showing completely, you could have also actually sewn it to that piece. And there you have it, guys. There's your little parcel complete with your little strap and your rose. I'm not going to touch it too much because this crinkling is really quite annoying. Just going to move it back about there. But thank you very much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share and do all the wonderful things that you guys always do for me, and I do appreciate all of that. And also don't forget, if you want to be a part of Live Antics and get to choose the colour combination of our very next tutorial, join us at Saturday mornings 10 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time, that is. And we have a lot of fun on our lives, and you can get to choose, out of all the yarn on the table, you get to choose the colour or colours of your choice for the very next tutorial. Thank you once again to the lovely Rachel for her colour combination today. Merry Christmas to everyone.